Harry and Meghan chose now for their latest cosplaying sham royal tour. We'll get the verdict from Australia, where the egos have landed, and I have an exclusive announcement coming up about how Uncensored will be covering this momentous existential time for the royal family.
Despicable fake tears at Bondi Beach, using a terrorist atrocity to sell her shitty clothing.
We're watching these two do exactly what they said they didn't want to do. This is why they left the royal family.
That's what Meghan Markle craved. And of course, to be addressed as Her Royal Highness, the Duchess of Sussex.
You know, it's very easy, I would argue, to construct an argument. Once you set a precedent for removing titles from people that bring dishonour to the royal family and the monarchy, well, why wouldn't you do the same to Harry and Meghan? Let them go and be.
You could be doing something that should be out of a sense of duty, and to me it looks like they're cheapening royalty. Royalty has become very cheap. To me, it's become disdain, and if this is something that is allowed to happen, I feel like I don't want anything to do with it, because there is no sense of duty. There is no sense of doing it because you have a connection to the people you are trying to help.
Harry and Meghan, the dreariest couple in the history of planet Earth, famously abandoned their royal duties for a life of privacy. They left the goldfish bowl of Great Britain.
So, retrospectively, I think that Harry probably regrets, I'm sure he regrets actually, because he no longer demands an apology. He regrets the way in which he levelled at his family. The fact he clearly now wants back in, he misses Palace dinners, he intonates that he's keen for some kind of reunion.
Do you have a burning view about the royal family, Josh?
They're never without some exciting stuff going on, but yeah, I've never really followed it too closely.
The tension between Harry and Charles has only strengthened the relationship of William and the King.
A huge piece about how great they could be for the royal family. Then it all went sour. Not going to relitigate all those years of souring.
His Australian panellist Danica DiGiorgio said it on air. When people across 3 continents independently land on the exact same phrase, it stops being opinion and starts being observation.
The fact that she was even deciding to go to Bondi Beach and all of a sudden care about an anti-Semitic Islamist terror attack was disgusting anyway, but the fake tears made me ill.
And this is the woman who visited Uvalde after that devastating school shooting, who flew in, posed at the memorial, and flew out a pattern so established and so consistent that even people who had previously given her the benefit of the doubt are now using the same word disaster, tourist.
We know that's what you did, as that one said, Meghan's most difficult acting part so far, alongside this video, making it abundantly clear that she was faking it.
But you look over at Meghan, and she's the complete opposite. She's beaming at the moment because, to the point that was made earlier, she's profiting off the clothing she's wearing. She's got a $1,200 dress on. She's got a Christian Dior pumps on.
In a country of 26 million people, at a venue holding 300 guests, Meghan Markle could not fill the room. And the women who did pay, who handed over what for many represents weeks of salary, they got 122 minutes of Meghan before she decided she had somewhere more important to be. She left, walked out, went to watch Harry at the rugby. Piers sat back and just looked at the camera, because this is the same woman who had $100 million Netflix deal, a multi-million-dollar Spotify contract, who sat across from Oprah Winfrey.
Yeah, she doesn't even bother to even give her presence for an extended amount of time. I mean, she's out as quickly as she came, and that is, to me, it tells you everything about who this woman actually is. And so for the people that paid this money, yeah, that is to be expected, because that is the character of Meghan Markle. She doesn't care that you spent this money to see her. She is wanting to earn her money and leave as quickly as she can, because she just does not care.
This was a production scheduled, staffed, lit. And yet, Meghan stood there performing grief for a tragedy she had said absolutely nothing about when it actually happened. Not a word, not a post, Not a single expression of solidarity when 15 people were murdered at one of the most famous beaches in the world. But now there were cameras. Now there was an audience. Now there was an outfit.
In the Daily Mail today, you know, he's the guy who's come up with the idea of Operation Thor, which is parts of the establishment, including the likes of Boris Johnson, trying to make it more palatable for Prince Harry and Meghan Markle to return long-term to the United Kingdom. He wrote on this today, P. Diner, the establishment plot thickens, and he reveals the fears inside Catherine and William's camp as Harry and Meghan put on a royal show down under, as rumours about the couple's return to Britain swirl. And he wrote, what we are seeing shows why the Queen, as in Queen Elizabeth II, was right not to allow Harry and Meghan to mix money-making with royal duties, one friend of William and Catherine tells me. In my own opinion, young cancer victims can end up looking like props to help the Sussexes make money. It's extremely dangerous for the monarchy.
Watching this tour, I mean, I'd be furious. Because I would think, how can you... This was the whole point of the Sandringham Summit. You can't have your cake and eat it. It's one or...
Let's start with the moment that stopped the world. Bondi Beach, Sydney, 15 innocent people murdered in an anti-Semitic mass. Shooting just months earlier. Families still grieving. And there was Meghan Markle. Cameras rolling, eyes blinking, one single tear, left eye sliding perfectly down a flawlessly...
The veil between us. If I was to visit Bondi Beach after a terrible tragedy, the last thing I would do is have a faux walkabout. I certainly wouldn't be laughing and smiling.
Deliberate, blinking the eyes of someone trying to manufacture moisture rather than someone actually feeling anything. One commentator put it most simply, Meghan's most difficult acting role so far.
Harry and Meghan chose now for their latest cosplaying sham royal tour. We'll get the verdict from Australia, where the egos have landed, and I have an exclusive announcement coming up about how Uncensored will be covering this momentous existential time for the royal family, an all-star panel.
Piers Morgan watched that footage and said, "What millions we were already thinking. This wasn't grief, this was a performance." Piers has been covering the royals for over 2 decades, but he told his panel on Uncensored that this Australia tour represents him.
Tessa, as the resident defender of all things indefensible for Harry and Meghan, I mean, look, I can see there's something about them which could have been a great asset to the royal family. No question. I wrote that on the day they got married. People forget this, but the Mail on Sunday...
Visit Bondi Beach after a terrible tragedy, the last thing I would do is have a faux walkabout. I certainly wouldn't be laughing and smiling, not to mention posing in the clothes I was planning on merching later. And that is exactly what she did. And Tom Sykes, who I actually think is one of the people who is pretty fair on the Sussexes, he is disgusted. He is completely disgusted about this, writing on his Substack, The Royalist, Meghan just turned a massacre site into an online shopping mall. It really shouldn't need saying, but when you are meeting people affected by an anti-Semitic mass shooting, making a quick buck off the event is a revolting dereliction of one's duty. And then he says, not as a royal, as a human!
The hospital visit proved it beyond any reasonable argument. This wasn't charity. This wasn't service. This was content creation. And the children were the props. If you needed one image...
This looks like a royal tour. And yet, at the weekend, they are going to be coining it in. And that's where I have a massive problem with this.
But you can't unroyal Harry. Born a prince, once a prince, always a prince.
They've just literally unroyaled Andrew.
Let's go back to that Bondi Beach moment, because it deserves every second of scrutiny it's getting. Meghan didn't just turn up. This was orchestrated from start to finish. A survivor didn't...
She turned up, the Princess of Woke, to Uvalde, Texas, to visit the struggling community there after the shooting. Who does she think she is?
Well, she thinks she's Princess Diana. She's always thought she's Princess Diana. She sees herself in some kind of cross between Michelle Obama and Diana Spencer, bringing relief and comfort to any situation.
300 seats, 122 minutes. Couldn't sell it out. The fall isn't just embarrassing, It's staggering.
Australian taxpayers are partially paying for Mr and Mrs Grifter's phony royal tour down under. Yes, Meghan Markle and her spare handbag Harry are on their way to Australia for the latest instalment of the Sussex's soap opera, months, of course, after that fake visit to the Middle East. Now, why are they coming, you might ask? Well, that is a great question. I don't know why they're even bothering, because the last time they came in 2018, Meghan had that dreadful sourpuss face on the whole time, and then claimed the Australia tour was the catalyst for her and the spare to leave the royal family.
She then changed for a veterans arts event later that afternoon. That outfit went online too. Piers has been saying for years that the fundamental problem with Meghan and Harry isn't that they left the royal family. The problem is that they left while taking everything that made them valuable: the titles, the access, the implied royal endorsement, and
her best life, which was the real grift of the tour, right? Because she's actually asking genuine fans to hand over thousands and thousands of dollars to spend time at what was effectively a high-class booze cruise, and yet she doesn't bother to stay. She doesn't stay there, P. Dinah. She gets out as quickly as possible to join Harry at the rugby. Now, you know what? Actually, if you are charging that much money, P. Dinah, on your name, surely she could have stayed at this event. I think, again, it just shows you how much she is prepared to take the piss out of the very few people who do support her, because remember, these tickets never sold out, despite the lies from the couple.
she didn't charge a penny. She offered herself, and she still brought a list of demands long enough to make producers wince. She demanded the comment section be shut down. MasterChef refused, so Meghan's team bought fake bot accounts, 0 posts, a handful of followers, brand new profiles with names like Root, for good to flood the comments with praise accounts. So obviously fake.
He went on, selling the clothes off her own back at the site of a massacre where 15 people died might come easily to Meghan, but like any right-minded person, I find this sickening. Well done, Tom Sykes, so do I. Much as I found it sickening earlier in the week when the clothes she wore when visiting a children's cancer hospital were put on the platform. Meghan then changed before going to a veterans art event later in the day and also put that outfit online. Why not go the whole hog and start selling jam crates out of a trailer in the fucking car park? How wise the Queen was when she advised this foolish, impatient, know-it-all couple not to try and combine a life of service with a life of profit, and how idiotic they were to ignore her.
2 people using tragedy, sick children, homeless women, and a massacre site as a backdrop for selling clothes online. And the most infuriating part? King Charles is doing absolutely nothing about it. Piers isn't just angry, Piers is demanding action. And after everything that happened...
Well, what I would say is Mr and Mrs Grifter, Piers, have come to Australia and are using us as a cash cow, essentially. Because what we have seen over the last 2 days is Meghan and Harry using every opportunity for a photo opportunity here, a PR op here. I mean, they love a microphone and they love a camera, don't they?
Week, it's very hard to argue with him. The public need to know that royals carry out engagements
because right now it seems that what many people see is someone who is very focused on controlling how she is perceived rather than being honest about who she really is.
His panel sat in near silence when the footage came up.
With you back where you belong.
The images say
if you enjoyed this, let us know. Like,
Piers, you know, they say that they're just coming here as 2 private citizens. Well, in the last couple of hours, Meghan has been announced, would you believe, as a guest judge on the Australian version of MasterChef, as in the cooking show. Now,
well, she's a great
she's
cook.
going to be... Yeah.
Everything that words struggle to. And then came the detail that pushed it from troubling to completely indefensible. The outfit Meghan wore to the Children's Cancer Hospital was listed on her AI shopping platform the same day you could buy it, while the children she had just visited were still in their hospital beds.
But she got what she wanted, and she got it for free because she didn't pay 1 cent. Meghan Markle managed to get the Australian government and a charity to pay for her trip for accompanying Harry. And this is all on Harry. Not even that skanky retreat that hasn't sold out at that poop hotel. No, it is the Australian government. This woman never learns because she bought fake accounts to leave positive comments calling her princess. I'm not going to keep you in suspense. Let's just look at the comment section, shall we? Meghan helps guide some of the most impressive home cooks the competition has ever seen. This is the series of MasterChef you don't want to miss. Very contradictory. Now, here comes the box. Look at the name. Root for good.
If Bondi Beach was the moral low point of this tour, the Her Best Life retreat was the commercial one, and Piers could barely contain himself. Here is what the retreat actually was.
About what rubs them up the wrong way about you. It's the contradictions, it's the sense of self-importance, the feeling that you want the platform of royalty without the constraints or responsibilities that come with it. You don't have to agree with all the criticism. That would truly be the road to insanity. But to act as though it's a mystery, that's where it starts to look less like confusion and more like a refusal to engage with reality. And that's why the word vain is not actually sufficient to explain what this is. It's too superficial. This is much deeper. This idea that everything ultimately comes back to you, your story, your feelings, your narrative in their perfect, immovable state. My advice would be stop focusing on how unfair.
Meghan Markle, trading on her Duchess of Sussex title, charged Australian women thousands of dollars each to spend time with her at a so-called transformational wellness experience. The venue was the Intercontinental Bondi Beach Hotel, except the hotel isn't even finished. No proper ballroom scaffolding still up. The tickets never sold out.
Spotting that gap. Now, to be fair, some of the criticism of you does go too far. There is no denying the pile-on can be excessive, aggressive, and at times deeply unpleasant. But that doesn't mean that all criticism is baseless. Lumping it all together as irrational hatred misses the point and, frankly, dismisses the intelligence of the audience. Because people aren't reacting to nothing. They're reacting to a pattern, a tone, a sense that what they're seeing isn't quite genuine. So get that stupid motto mug and smash it against the wall. Stop projecting an image outside and spend a little bit more time being honest about what's really going on inside. You'll probably find that you just don't know who you are. Why? Well, because you practiced all your life to be an actress and you are really good at it. It is nice to marry well. But when you've been in the biggest show on TV on your own terms as yourself, being the +1 in a famous family was never going to be enough. Go back to what you're good at and then enjoy the inevitable compliments and praise that will come with it. Stop concluding that everything is inexplicable hostility. You have convinced yourself that the problem is that everyone else, that the world has simply decided to dislike you for no good reason. That is far easier than reflecting, adjusting and meeting people halfway. Public perception will shift when people feel that they're seeing the real you, something truly authentic. And yes, I know your generation have been taught to see everything through the lens of victimhood, as though there are forces beyond your control which render you defenceless. This is a myth designed to keep your generation placid, malleable and weak, and you're only making that worse. I don't believe you want people to feel like that. In fact, you go on to say this.
So you have to be stronger than that. And a friend of mine gave me a little bag that had a quote on it that I put on. And I look at it every single day. And I would share it with you because sometimes I can imagine as you talk about depression or anxiety or a willingness or lack of appetite to even want to get out of bed or keep going, that this is the quote that it says, and I think it's important that you remember it because I try to as well. My wish for you is that you continue to be who and how you are, to astonish a mean world with your
Hello, this is Bev on GBN Originals. Now, criticising other women is not my natural habitat. And so if Meghan Markle is watching this, know that it comes with love, as ever, you might say, because Meghan Markle has taken her lack of personal insight to a new level. Speaking to young people in Australia, she said this, but I warn you, it's going to stretch your cringe capacity to the limit.
For now 10 years, every day for 10 years, I have been bullied and attacked. And I was the most trolled person in the entire world, man or woman. I'm still here. And so when I think of all of you and what you're experiencing, I think so much of that is having to realize that, that industry, that billion-dollar industry that is completely anchored and predicated on cruelty to get clicks, that's not going to change.
Let me address this straight to Meghan. My love, if you are the most trolled person in the whole world, you might just be the problem. And I know that is harsh, and it takes real friends to hold up a mirror to our poor behaviour. But in the absence of you having any, clearly, get comfy. Because the public loved you, Meghan. The wedding, the love between the two of you, the fact that you had saved Harry, who we all loved and felt so sorry for when he walked behind his mother's coffin. My God, we were rooting for you both. And the whole world did not just wake up one morning and collectively decide to dislike you. Sadly, you both chipped away at our affections unrelentingly until we could take no more. Public opinion shifts over time, and usually it's in response to what people see, hear, and crucially, what they feel they're being shown. And what people feel they're being shown again and again is something that is fake and inauthentic. I don't actually subscribe to the idea that you are vain, Meghan Markle. Because right now, it seems that what many people see is someone who is very focused on controlling how she is perceived, rather than being honest about who she really is. I'd love to see a new season of Suits with you back where you belong. If you enjoyed this, let us know, like, comment below, subscribe to our channel as well, and please share it. I'll see you next time.